What's going on, guys? G2 here. Welcome back to the bench. And yes, that is correct. This is not clickbait. It is actually a method and process that has been involved in club making for way back to, we could probably go to the 40s or 50s. Now, modern technology and all, club makers have managed to integrate those reminders into the grips. But way before we had that, there was, in my opinion, a much easier process. And if you look at it from a cost perspective, it's cheaper. So your traditional grip, right, is round all the way around. It doesn't have any reminder on it. Yes, you can buy ones like these that have the reminder built in, but you can easily convert. We got a typical Tour Velvet here, Grip 1, the Callaway grip, even a multi-compound. It will work for these as well. I've never tried them out on wind grips or two-piece grips or anything like that because, frankly, I don't really like the way they feel. But it's really simple. It's practically free, and all it involves are these. So these were purchased on Amazon. This is 100-count coffee stirrers. Now, they come in different sizes. I think these were 7.5 inches. At least that's what it said. They're right around 7. You'll see a 5.5. I like the 7 because when you look at it from a grip perspective, it's more going to be along the lines of both hands will be able to engage with this. And the process it's really simple. You can get a pack of 100 of these for $6.99, okay? And if you use the air method to install your grips, it can't get any much easier. So this is where I start. I've got a driver here that I'm going to install this on. You can do this on any grip that you like. The only suggestion I will make is don't do this to your wedges. And the reason I say that is because if you do this to a wedge is kind of like your Swiss Army knife of clubs. So you don't always want to have that club gripped in the straight or neutral position. Sometimes you may need to open that face up to, hit a bunker shot, a flop shot. You may want to close that face down to hit a lower trajectory shot. And by doing that, what you're going to end up doing, which is not a good thing, is you're going to take your normal grip stance and then to open up the club, you're going to do this. And that's not what you want to do. You want to lay the club down, into the position that you want to hit it. So in this case, if we're square, I would want to lay the club open, not taking a grip, and then grip the club. So if we're doing this square, right now we're here. Now I'm going to grip the club with the grip open as opposed to gripping it when it's square. I don't want to do this to manipulate the head at setup. I hope that makes sense, which is why I don't suggest you doing this on wedges. But for every other club in your bag, absolutely. I think it's a great, cheap, easy thing to do. So here's what I do. I get the stick. I try to find, may have a little bow in them. They may not be totally straight in terms of this way. So find the best ones. You got 100 of them. You're going to find good ones. And I will slightly just taper the edge here. Now I do that on my sanding belt. So it takes a second. And now we have this. Now what do I taper? Just to soften the edge so it's not a square edge when I put it on the grip. This is more in line with the way the traditional ones were set up. I'll show you a picture here of how they look. And you can buy these if you want on GolfWorks. All you do at this point is you want to make sure you set your club up to the position where it is square, right? We want to make sure this is on the bottom. So this is the top. We want that reminder on the bottom part of our grip, or vice versa, however you put your grips on. You want this on the bottom part of the grip. So make sure that you're working on the bottom part of the shaft. And you can do this a couple ways. Some people will just put it straight on a raw shaft, put a couple dabs of hot glue and just sit it there, and that will be fine. I found this process is a little easier because this is how I traditionally set up my clubs. I do one wrap, plus I do a half wrap, and I use masking tape to do my half wrap, since masking tape is exactly 1/2 the thickness of regular grip tape. And I will set this on, right? So we'll just grab our tape here. And I will put the grip reminder on the actual tape. So it's sticky on this side, right? So just put it on there, square. We can obviously adjust this when we put this on the shaft. So here it is, right? Can you see? Yeah, there we go. You can see it now. And then we're just gonna line this onto our shaft. You don't want it to go all the way up to the top. I like it kind of in this general area as we're looking at it. So about an inch to we'll call it a 3/4 of an inch down from the top, and then about 1.5 inches from the bottom. So we'll set it up onto the shaft, like so. Make sure that we're getting it on there square. Okay, it's pretty good, and then we'll just do our edges here. You may get a little wrinkling down at the bottom. That's okay. You can feather that out once you get the tape on there. Okay, and then working from the bottom like you would do with normal grip tape, you're just going to wrap that tape around. Remember, start from the bottom, not from the top. You start from the top, you're most certainly going to get a crazy amount of wrinkles on there, and then just work that tape up. If you're using double-sided tape, process would be exactly the same. Okay. We've got that. We'll just twist off up here and stick it in. Now, see, I've got some wrinkles on this. Okay, here's how you take them out. Just grab yourself something rounded, and just run it over top of those wrinkles, and it'll smooth them out. You're not going to feel those wrinkles under the grip anyway, but that's it, right? So our reminder is set up on the bottom of our club. You can see the rib running from here all the way down to here. So we'll head over and we'll just install the grip. I like to have the rib on the top here, so I know this is exactly the bottom of my grip. Then when I go to my grip, I can find, what's going to be the top, what's going to be the bottom, and just install it upside down. Now with air, I always like to just put a dab of solvent on there, just to make everything easier on myself, as well on the tip here, so you don't get that squeaking. We'll put our air adapter in, like so. We're going to set our grip up upside down, and we're going to go. All right, and that's it. Now, I will tell you, when you use the air method, it doesn't go on quite as smooth as it does without that rib, but it definitely, it goes on. You just have to give it a little extra juice, which is why I like using the solvent. But then now, I don't know if we can see it. I can feel it. There's where it starts. You can kind of see just the little bump on this side of the shaft. If we rotate it, see how it gets smooth, and then when we just see that very subtle bump right here that runs all the way up to about here. And then when we go ahead and hold this, that grip reminder sits perfectly right in the finger well of your hands, giving you a great feel, just kind of a little extra confidence that you're holding the club square. That's it. Now, if you have grips that you've already put on by air, just simply blow them off, put this extra layer of masking tape on there with the rib. This extra layer is not going to change really the diameter of your grip that much. Not to the point where you are going to notice, hey, these grips feel extra big. The average amateur golfer will not feel the difference of a 0.08 of an inch in thickness on their grips. You just won't. And I think it's a great little addition for those of you who maybe, like, you know, we're in the winter time, you may be going to try to do some grip changes, you know, change for maybe you're a 10-finger guy and you want to go to an overlap, or maybe you want to go to an interlock. This is going to help you tremendously because you're going to be able to feel, one, where you're holding the club. I can feel it just running right through right here. And two, get you set up correctly with the square club face. So $6.99 for 100 opportunities to get your grip better using grips you may like. The Align grips may not be a grip that you like. I mean, I like the multi-compound. I think they're nice, but I personally am more of a traditionalist, and I like the feel of a Tour Velvet opposed to a cord. I just don't. I just don't like the feel of cord all year round. Summertime when it's super hot and humid, sure, I'll change my clubs to a cord. And then once we get out of that humidity time, I'll go back to a regular Tour Velvet. And the great thing about Air is I can do that immediately. Within the matter of 20 minutes, just switch them out. And I've got now, you know, a set of cord grips that may only have, you know, 15 rounds in them. So I can plug them off, wrap them up, put them away, and then next year, plug them right back on and they're going to be perfectly fine. So you can swap them out like that. And of course, obviously, by putting it on with Air, you can do this without having to worry about the grips that you have, especially if they're in good condition and you don't feel like replacing them. Really easy, really cheap, same performance at, I mean, the cost is practically zero. I mean, if you're really cheap, just go to your local coffee house and steal some wooden stirs, and then it's literally free for you. So until next time, make sure you swing as hard as you can, just in case you hit the fairway. G2 out.
It went straight down.